Christopher McCandless was an American traveler who went to a deserted part of Alaska with the hope of living alone for a while. 4 months later, he died of the exhaustion. McCandless was born in Southern California. His father was an aerospace system engineer who partnered with his second wife, Christopher's mother, to become a successful entrepreneur. The family moved to the East Coast when Christopher was a child. He grew up in Annandale, Virginia, and then went on to Embry University, where he excelled in his studies in history and anthropology and wrote articles for the campus newspaper. Always eager to travel, he drove himself to Fairbanks, Alaska, during his summer vacation. Shortly after receiving his bachelor's degree in May 1990, he donated all of his savings to charity, cut off communication with his family, and drove to Arizona, where his car was found disabled by flash flooding in the Lake Mead area. Following his dream, he left his car and walked. McCandless traveled extensively in the western United States. Sometimes he traveled by freight train, but mostly he hitchhiked. In the fall of 1990, he became friends with Wayne Westenberg, an elevator operator in Carthage, South Dakota. McCandless worked for Westenberg for a while, and then headed south, launching an aluminum canoe on the Colorado River and swimming to Mexico. After returning to the United States, he spent most of the fall of 1991 working at a McDonald's restaurant in Bullhead City, Arizona. He lived in Salton City, California for a short time and then reappeared in Carthage, where he planned his Alaska adventure. This photo was taken by Gail Bora just before Chris left for Alaska. Pictured from left to right are Dave Wolf, Wayne Westenberg, Chris, Rod Wolf, and Gail's son Steven. McCandless hitchhiked across Canada and reached Fairbanks on the Alaska Highway on April 25, 1992. 3 days later, he made another trip southwest to the Panic Run trailhead. The driver who gave Christopher a ride noticed that the boy was ill-prepared for a long stay in the wilderness, as McCandless was carrying little more than 10 pounds of rice and a collection of books. In addition, he didn't have a good map, and his .22 caliber rifle didn't have enough firepower to hunt big game or defend against bears. McCandless's original plan was to head west to the Bering Sea, but they ended up taking refuge in an abandoned bus on a little-known trail. He lived by killing small animals and one moose and gathering roots and berries. In a manifesto written on plywood and signed by Alexander Supertramp, he proclaimed himself an extremist and aesthetic traveler whose home is the road, and that he had now entered the culminating battle in which to kill the false being within and to complete the spiritual revolution victoriously. McCandless would have returned to civilization in early July 1992 if he had been able to cross the Teclanica again, but the river, which he had easily waded 2 months earlier, had already overflowed, due to snowmelt, and the traveler had to return to the bus. Forced to continue on a poor diet, he weakened and died in mid-August. His body, which weighed only 67 pounds, was discovered by hunters on September 6. Officially, the cause of death was starvation. However, in the last days of his life, McCandless recorded in his diary that wild potato or Eskimo potato seeds had incapacitated him. Research conducted years later at the request of McCandless, biographer John Krakauer and others revealed an amino acid in wild potato seeds that acts as an antimetabolite. Krakauer's book Into the Wild is the main search of information about McCandless. The book was the basis for a Hollywood movie of the same name, directed by Penn and starring Emile Hirsch as McCandless.